A new analysis warns that the U.S. Israel military campaign against Iran has gone awry and become far more complicated and costly than initially expected. And we turn to an article from the Gatestone Institute. They report that the U.S. Israel military campaign against Iran, which began with high expectations of a swift and decisive victory, well, it has instead become a prolonged and far more complicated conflict than anticipated, but certainly not by us or this network or our broadcast partners. We warned repeatedly that wars often go longer than expected and the price is higher than anticipated. This is proving to be true. The piece, well, it argues that what was intended as a limited operation to degrade Iran's nuclear program and missile capabilities, well, it has encountered significant setbacks, including stronger than expected Iranian resilience and resistance, along with their continued proxy attacks and the unexpected regional fallout. The author notes that the Iranian regime, well, it has not collapsed as some predicted. Its leadership structure has hardened, and its network of militants, they remain active. The article, it warns that the war has strained U.S. resources, complicated alliances, and it may have empowered hardliners inside Iran rather than weakening them. The article also highlights the growing economic cost, including surging global oil prices and disruptions, of course, to the Strait of Hormuz. The author concludes that the conflict has not gone according to initial plans and thus raises serious questions about long-term strategy and the risk of further escalation. This article from the Gatestone Institute, it's sobering. It's a sobering reality check is what it is. What many hoped would be a quick surgical operation to neutralize Iran's nuclear threat, well, it has turned into a messy, drawn-out war with consequences that most of the folks behind it did not fully anticipate. We should pray for wisdom for our leaders and, of course, protection for our troops. An article from the Daily Mail reports that U.S. forces carried out a daring rescue operation to save an F-15 weapons system officer who was shot down over a province in Iran. The unidentified airman, described by President Trump as a brave warrior and highly respected colonel, he ejected safely after his jet was hit and he became separated from the initial rescue team. He evaded Iranian forces for nearly 2 days by climbing a 7,000-foot mountain, hiking at least 20 kilometers while using survival evasion resistance and escape training. Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps search parties, they hunted him down with a $60,000 bounty on his head. CIA agents, they planted fake intelligence suggesting he'd already been rescued and extracted, which successfully misled Iranian forces. On Saturday, April 4th, hundreds of SEAL Team 6 commandos, they launched a nighttime rescue from a desert airstrip using 4 MH-6 Little Bird helicopters. The operation, it involved intense firefighting with local militias and besieged fighters. 2 C-130 transport planes and 1 helicopter became stuck in the mud at the airstrip, forcing U.S. forces to destroy the aircraft, prevent them from falling into the hands of the Iranians. The airman was successfully extracted, and that was under heavy fire. He was flown to Kuwait for medical treatment. No U.S. personnel were killed or captured in the mission. President Trump, he announced a successful rescue on Truth Social, calling it, quote, one of the most daring search and rescue operations in U.S. history, end quote, and stating that the airman was, quote, safe and sound, end quote. We praise the Lord for that, don't we? And now an article from Zero Hedge reports that Iran has issued a direct and explicit threat to completely destroy OpenAI's massive $30 billion Stargate AI data center. That project is located in Abu Dhabi. A senior Iranian official warned that the facility would face complete and utter annihilation if the United States and Israel continue their military operations against Iran. The Stargate project, it is a joint venture between OpenAI, Oracle, and the United Arab Emirates. It's designed to be one of the world's largest AI supercomputing centers. And Iranian sources claim the data center could be used to support U.S. military and intelligence operations in the region, making it thus a legitimate target. The threat was made public through official channels as the U.S. Israel campaign against Iran continues and as additional American forces arrive in the Middle East. The article notes that the Stargate facility is part of a broader push by the UAE to become a global AI powerhouse. And its destruction, it would represent a major escalation in Iran's strategic targeting of high-value economic and technological assets in the Gulf. An article from Zero Hedge reports that the head of the International Energy Agency, known as IEA, has issued a stark warning about potential panic hoarding of oil across Asia as the crisis in the Strait of Hormuz deepens. The IEA executive director stated that the ongoing disruption to oil flows through the strait, which carries roughly 20% of global oil trade, it is creating serious supply concerns in Asia, the world's largest oil importing region. He warned that if the situation is not resolved quickly, countries in Asia could begin hoarding oil, which would drive prices even higher and create a self-reinforcing global energy crisis. The article notes that President Trump has grown increasingly impatient with Iran's refusal to reopen the strait. President Trump has repeatedly stated that the U.S. will not tolerate any closure or major disruption of the waterway, and he has warned that Iran will be bombed back to the Stone Ages if it does not comply. A combination of Trump's strong rhetoric and the IEA's warning, well, it has heightened fears of a broader energy shock, with oil prices already surging and Asian buyers scrambling to secure supplies.